Usually when a phone gets updated, you expect bigger and better. But here on the Samsung Galaxy A56, that is not the case. In fact, there have been some major downgrades from the A55. But wait, before you carry your pitchforks to burn everything down, there has also been some upgrades here as well. And in today, I'm going to be comparing the A55 to the A56 to fully show you how both cameras perform in different conditions, the video performances, the upgrades, and sadly the downgrades as well. But first, hi, I'm Captain Awesome. This is Geekception, and I really appreciate if you give this video a like and subscribe, as that really helps me out here on the channel. There are also channel memberships if you want to support that way as well. And this is the night camera front test of both the Galaxy A55 versus the Galaxy A56. Now, I am not sure if you can immediately tell, but looking at it right in my viewfinder right here, I think the A56 looks brighter, but it also looks like very noisy. But to be honest, like, they both are very noisy right now. But yeah, this is just in a condition where it's like almost totally dark. The only lights I'm getting are from around the city, and you can see like the Twin Towers right there behind me. But yeah, you let me know both from the audio and the video as well, which one do you prefer here? Do you see any improvement from the A55 in the A56? Let me know in the comments. Like, this is going to be fun. I'm starting with a quick camera spec, and both phones have the same back three cameras with one main camera, one macro camera, and one ultra wide camera. And when I say same, I'm not kidding. All the cameras are literally the same cameras. Now you may be wondering, if the cameras are the same, then why bother doing this test at all? And I think the reason you should give it a chance is because of software. Just like here on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, where with software we've been able to get a lot more out of these cameras, even though it's literally the same hardware. And going to the front here is where I think we find the first downgrade, which is the front camera, where on the A55 here we have a 32 megapixel camera. Now on the A56 it's downgraded to 12 megapixel. Ouch. Looking at the daylight photo samples here, and I'll be honest with you, just looking at it on the screens here, and I really couldn't tell which one was which. In fact, I had to bring both of this to the computer to be able to tell the differences, and I did notice a few, such as, first is that the A56 has better contrast than the A55, meaning that it has a little bit more deeper blacks with better overall exposure. I also find that the A56 is more true to life and has more accurate white balance compared to the A55 here. And I would also say the A56 also retains better light in the shadows compared to A55, so I can see more detail when I, really zoom into the photo. And overall, I'll say the photos from the A56 is slightly better than the A55. It's definitely an improvement, but you feel that Samsung did not try to do too much here to change the image processing. Just a little refinement, that's all you're getting. And this is the back camera video test of both the Galaxy A55 versus the Galaxy A56 here. And I'm just walking, so let me know what you think of the stabilization. They are both in UHD 30. And here, if I just switch the cameras, so to a 0.5, and you can see how the 0.5 camera is in the daytime. I'm just gonna walk a little bit as well with the 0.5. This, I think, should be a lot more stable, or at least that's what I always imagine. And of course there's a 2x crop mode here on these cameras as well. So if I just go into the 2x there, you can see how the camera is 2x and how it's trying to stabilize that 2x camera as well. So if, let's say, we try to walk with the 2x camera, let's see how that feels as well. And I'm just going to go back to the 1x camera here. And right at the back here, I can notice there's a considerable shift in white balance. I'm not sure if it is the automatic white balance of the phone or it's the video white balance. I guess I'll find out when you find out as well. But yeah, I think there's definitely a white balance, which for skin tones I found looks a whole lot more pleasing on the A56. So they must have tweaked the color there somehow, is what I imagine. But yeah, you let me know what you think of both the video and the audio quality of the A55 versus the A56 camera test here. So let's do a quick lens consistency test, which is taking 3 photos, first with the ultra wide, then the main camera, and then that crop, which is 2 times here. Now what I noticed is that just like last year's Galaxy A55, the Galaxy A56 still has that shift from magenta on the ultra wide camera to a bit more warmer tone on the 1x and 2x cameras. And while it's no deal breaker by any means, I just found that this tiny quirk is still present on the A56, and I think you generally have to upgrade to like an S25 Ultra to be able to get more consistent photos across all of the camera ranges. And this is the back camera video test of both the A55 versus the Galaxy A56. Now I'm just in the city here. I'm going to go out to 0.5x here for both cameras, and you can see how the low light, has it improved, has it not improved? From the back of the camera here, it's very difficult to tell. I'm just gonna pan down a bit there, and let's just go into 2x right here on both these cameras, and let us see how they look there. And yeah, I really cannot tell which one is better. Like, they both look like almost similar. I'm just gonna pan to the Twin Towers right there so you can see there, and also to the KL Towers there to see how it looks there. And I can definitely see the A56 fighting with the stabilization there. Let's go back to the 1x camera here, and yeah, if I go into, like, let's say a dark part of the roof that I am on right now, and let's go back out there, I'm really struggling to see the difference. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show this later, but yeah, you let me know how you think this looks. But yeah, this is how they both look. Next, let's talk software. Now, the Galaxy A55 here is still on One UI 6.1, which at this stage is old news, compared to One UI 7 that is present here on the A55, which is a lot more faster, is a lot more sleeker, and most importantly means that you get some Galaxy AI features in the camera. With the first Galaxy AI feature here being best face, which you get on the Galaxy A56, which means that when you've taken a photo like this here and you tap edit, you actually get an option here for best face. If you go into the settings there and you tap on best face here, so it finds the best face, which means that it takes multiple photos, and this works with up to 5 people, and you can now change the face there depending on, for example, if someone closed their eyes, for example, and you want to be able to have them have their eyes open, best face is present here, which sadly you do not get on the A55. And if I grab my A55 real quick here and I open the camera, there is a filter system that is used here on the A55. And if you go into the camera app, you tap on the top right there and it gives you all of these filters here. Now, the only setting you get here is just filter strength, which is not ideal. But if I grab my A56 here, which is the new phone, and I open the camera app right here, and let me just switch the camera here, and you actually get new filters here, which is below here. And these filters, because of Galaxy AI, means that you can actually create a custom filter. So for example, if there's a photo I like, let me select this photo here. It will actually create a filter, as you can see right now, because of Galaxy AI here. And if I click done, boom, I have that filter. And as you can see here on screen, there are just way more options here. You can control your contrast for the image. You can control your saturation. And yeah, like, you can control the temperature here. You just get a much more featured filter system here on the Galaxy A56, which I don't think you're going to get on the A55, even with the new upgrade, or, we'll just wait and see, but you can get that right now on the A56. I remember when I told you that these two phones might have the same identical camera, but software is where I think it's going to overtake the A55. Well, that's where I think this is going to even be bigger, because if we switch into the camera interface, and One UI 7's camera here is just a lot more cleaner. The options are much more centered here. It just feels a lot better. There's the whole menu system, there's a whole filter system, and I'm sure perhaps it will come to the A55, but I'm not sure what Galaxy AI features are going to make it to the A55. Right now, I think the only Galaxy AI feature that is on the A55 kind of a circle to search, which you can press and hold there, and you can circle to search. But on the A56 here, you just have a lot more software and Galaxy AI features present here. And yeah, if that is something that means a lot to you, then the A56 might be a lot more compelling than the A55. And if I'm giving a winner in this category, it would definitely have to be the A56. Next, let's talk portrait mode. And this is where I think software again is coming into play for the A56, because as you can immediately notice, you have the 2x zoom here on portrait mode in the camera interface here on the A56 compared to just the 1x you're going to be getting on the A55. And when you look at the sample images here, the photos from the A56 have a better cutout and a better fall off from the in focus to the out of focus part of the photo. And thanks to that 2x mode, it meant I was able to get just a little bit closer, which is what you want with portrait most of the time. And in fact, there were some scenes that the A55 just flat out refused to focus because it was too far. But with the A56, I could actually punch in and get those photos. And when taking selfies either in the day or at night, I noticed that on the A56, it had a much better white balance compared to the A55. Speaking of white balance, I noticed that all the night indoor portrait photos specifically I took on both these devices still suffer from bad white balance, I would say. And I noticed this taking photos for the whole year on the Galaxy A55, and I'm still noticing it here on the Galaxy A56 as well. And this is the front camera test of both the Galaxy A56 and the Galaxy A55. Now it is in the morning in sunny Malaysia now, and I'm just walking around. And can you tell which one is which, especially when we look at which camera handles the shadows and also like the blown out skies there, especially when I come into the shot here. But yeah, let me know. Looking at it now, one definitely looks a lot more, I would say, natural than the other. You tell me which in the comments there, but to my eye right now, the A56 looks a whole lot more natural than the A55, which has this like yellow tint on my skin, while the A56 has a more accurate representation of my skin. And there's like this bright building behind me there, so let me just go there, see which one is able to still keep my face and the buildings in the background nicely exposed there. But yeah, also let me know what you think of the audio as well. But yeah, this is wow, surprising. I'm also finding out like the differences here as I'm recording in real time. But yes, you let me know in the comment section down there below. Next, let's take a look at night photos. And again, I struggle to tell both these phones apart from each other. They're just very similar. When I went out and I took the photos, and even when I came back to my computer, I could really not tell the difference between these two phones. They look very similar, and one can even say identical because they're the same exact camera. In some photos, the A55 looked better, and I was like, oh, okay, there's not been much improvement. And then in other photos, the A56 looked better, and I was like, oh, is there a lot of improvement? What I did notice is that both phones here struggled when it came to 2x at night. They felt a lot over sharpened, and you could tell that these two phones were hanging on for dear life. But overall, I would say it's a tie here. They take, I think, bearable photos, night photos here. If you intend to use them to take night photos, please do let me know what you think of the night photos. Did you notice any improvement there in the comments below? And if we switch into the video mode here, both of these phones shoot up to UHD 30 frames per second on their back cameras as well as on their front cameras as well. So not a lot of difference there. And of course, you've been seeing the video samples with still some more to come in this video. So let me know what are your thoughts on the video performance of both these cameras here as well. Now, often regarded as a useless camera, and I agree it can be, there is a third macro camera here. And because I've been into shooting macro lately, I decided to really give these two macro cameras here a big try. And what I immediately noticed when I tried taking macro shots here was that I couldn't get as close as I would like to when taking macro shots on both these phones. And in photography, we call this minimum focusing distance, which is how close you can get from the lens to still have your subject in focus. And both these two phones here perform rather poorly. And because both the macro cameras do not have optical image stabilization, I had to take some shots multiple times before I could actually get one that was in focus. And here I couldn't find a definitive winner because they both lose here. And if you're planning on taking macro shots, I would say try to take it in a brightly lit condition and maybe use a tripod, and also have a lot of patience, because that was what I had to do to get like usable shots out of both these phones here. And both these phones have an ultra-wide camera, and taking a look at the shots that I got from them, and the theme here is still the same. I struggle to find a lot of difference. They look very similar, and in fact, apart from a few white balance differences here and there, I really struggled to be able to tell which one was which. And if I didn't have a watermark, I would really struggle, because yeah, I think the A55 already from last year handled a lot of distortion very well, which is like how the edges stretch out. And the A56 here at least keeps up with the same performance, and I really loved using the ultra wide on both these devices, especially when you consider some low light shots as well, which I think they still perform rather surprisingly good actually. Now, coming to the most important part of this comparison, which is like, is the A56 worth it over the A55? And there's just one word for you, right? Refinement. And I think that's what you're getting here on the A56, because it's not quite the S series level of, Samsung. So it's not an S20 something FE or the main S25 Ultra line. So you're not going to be getting all the full suite of improvements. And even one can argue those phones still, like the S25 Ultra, did not get a better camera, for example. It's just a slight spec bump. So here on the A56, if you have the A55 and you're expecting a bit better, a massive upgrade from the A55, then you're not going to get it here on the A56, because it's more of the same but slightly tweaked. You have some new features such as that best face, and you get some new Galaxy AI features, and that's pretty much it. It still takes, I think, good enough photos when there's light, and surprisingly good enough photos when there's also not enough light, which I think is something that at least has continued here on the A56. But if you're someone who does not have the A55 and you're considering getting the A56 and entering into the Samsung ecosystem, and this is where your money is, I would say if this is absolutely what your budget can, afford right now, you are still not going to get a bad camera here compared to the A55. And in fact, you might even save some money and just go for the A55 because it's the same cameras. But take into account, you are not going to be getting some of those new Galaxy AI features. At least it's not been confirmed yet. So that's another thing to consider as well. And now, over to you. What do you think about both these two phones here, their cameras, the performance, the video? Please let me know. Do you have an A55 and you're considering the A56? Are you just watching this video because you've already bought an A56 and you want to see how it performs against the A55? Let me know all of those things and more in the comment section down there below. And yeah, I've been your Captain of Awesome. This is Geekception. I really appreciate you sticking all the way to the end here. I love making videos like this, and this video for some reason is just so complex for no reason, but I love it. I love, really dedicating time to make stuff like this that I love, that I care about. And because I really like the A55, I've dedicated a lot of, time and made so many videos about it. I was so excited when the A56 came out because I think it even has a bigger upgrade design-wise compared to the S25 series, for example, right? But yes, that's enough yapping from me. Thank you so much. I shall catch you in the next one. Don't forget to text me when you get home so I know you got home safe. And until next time, don't forget to stay awesome. Bye. And thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Now, this video took me quite a while to make. Putting all the comparisons together, color grading for some reason with ChatGPT because I just didn't like how my colors looked and all of that. But yeah, I enjoyed the process. It's been fun. It's been great. How are you doing? What part of the world are you watching from? Please let me know. It's always fun to see that. And of course, give hashtag awesome55. So I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. And apart from that, I just appreciate you, making it all the way here. I really cherish you. And whenever I'm making anything, believe me, I am making it with you in mind. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, I shall quickly upload this or try to export it. I've actually not even started the export process on my computer there. So I'll start the export process. I will, put this section into it, and I'll see you in the comments. So yeah, please take care of yourself and have an awesome day wherever it is you are in the world.